Hello, MS235, Christian Message and American Religions class. This is Travis Johnson, your instructor. What I like to do in this brief video is to go over the Observational Experience Proposal Paper, assignment, and rubric. And hopefully you guys have had a chance to look over that or print it off at the very least. If you do have that, go ahead and get that out in front of you, and I would recommend following along with me as we go through this. The paper itself, what I want to do here is just highlight a few things, starting with the paper itself. The paper is 1 page or less, double-spaced, and really what I'm looking for in terms of the paper is just information about the cult that you've chosen to observe, local name, group, the name of the event, the time, the address, and so forth, including the duration, but all that's spelled out here in the assignment on the rubric itself. Really what you'll spend most of your time doing in terms of this assignment is doing the research before. That includes reading the chapter that reading the chapter of the cult that you're interested in observing live. So you'll need to do that, and then just researching the those local groups here in town that may have published events. The other part to that is also providing two particular beliefs that are unique to that cult. I want you to do that in your paper, and I want you to list those. You don't have to describe the belief. I just want you to identify them and clearly state which ones you're going to be looking for when you actually do your observational experience. And in terms of the experience itself, know that I'm not asking you guys to really interact with the cult. This is just observation, and this will be more clear when I give you the observational experience paper itself and that rubric, and it'll highlight some things on things and sections and areas that you're being asked to observe. But as you're thinking through this and trying to decide if you want to do something here in Charlotte or actually go somewhere and do it live versus an online video, which you do have the option to do that. As you're thinking through that, just know that I'm not asking for you to get involved or to interact beyond what you're comfortable with. Most of these groups, I would imagine, would be very welcoming. So as you're thinking of whether or not you want to do it online or do it live, just know that this is strictly for observational purposes. I do think as Christians we need to be, in order to be engaged with the culture and interact with those who we disagree with, we need to know what they believe, and some of that you can get from a book. And a lot of that you can get from a book, but I think at some level we need to be able to interact with them live and to really observe their practices and their beliefs. And like I said, sometimes the best way to do that is to actually observe them and to observe them in their worship and just to understand better what it is they believe and how they go about doing things. And from that, you'd be most of the time and more often, you're able to find a way to connect and to see and identify ways that you can to engage them more effectively. So that's kind of the purpose for this, and I think it'll be fruitful, especially if you do it live. Otherwise, you may miss some things that you won't that you just can't get through a video feed. So if you have any questions pertaining to that, or you have any reticence about this, then certainly contact me and let's talk about it. And or if you're not sure and maybe need some help in terms of what you want to do or what cult you want to observe, contact me and we can look over that. But hopefully each of you have maybe one particular or two particular cults that you think you may want to learn more about, and so this would be a great time to really get in there and understand that cult better beyond just the textbook and the printed information. Let's see, what else? Okay, in terms of the assignment, paper is due on Thursday, March 13th at 8 a.m. That's a quick turnaround. The reason why I'm having you do this so quickly is because I want to be able to get you feedback and approval on your chosen cult in plenty of time, so that you can have, at least, I think I've given you 3 weekends to actually complete the observation and write the paper. So I want to give you as much time on the back end to do the observation and to write your paper. So that's why this is a short turnaround time on this. Again, most of your time will be spent in research and reading the textbook. The paper shouldn't take you very long. And just to emphasize and to reiterate, I'm not asking that you guys will have already done the observation. This is just this is a paper that you're writing, so you can go ahead and schedule it and begin to identify that alter that experience, observational experience or worship event. And 2, it's to give me an idea of what you're thinking and to basically approve it before you commence with your observation. You will note here that I will be adding 5 additional points to the final paper assignment to all students for all students who view something live or who actually go to an event or worship service here in town or here locally. So just know that, and just be aware of the time requirement depending on what it is you're doing. And I have provided you some links here at the bottom. These are to some local places here in town, local groups. So just to make you aware of that. These are also posted under the week 1 assignment. And this is not an exhaustive list, so you may need to do some additional research if your particular cult that you're interested in observing is not on here. But this will at least get you started. Okay, know that all cults won't have an organized presence here in Charlotte, so you may have to dig around some. Like I said, if you need help with this or have questions, then contact me. But most of the larger groups like Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, they will have a greater presence, multiple locations, and that includes set times of worship services and so forth. But you may want to, as you're doing your research and investigation, you may need to contact someone connected to the group or the cult itself just to get more information. Don't use the word cult. If you have to contact someone, please don't use the word cult in your explanation. Just be honest with them. Tell them that you're in seminary and you're taking a religions class, and that you'd like to observe their religion and just learn more about it. And that's none of that, and all that's true. But just be sensitive to them and be careful on how you communicate. The last thing you want to do is offend them. That's certainly not helpful for anybody, and that's certainly not helpful for the gospel going forward throughout the world. So just know that, and just be polite and courteous and so forth, if and when you communicate to anybody associated with the group. This assignment is worth 5% of your final grade, so know that. This is the rubric itself, so this is what I'm going to be grading on. This is what I'm going to be grading your paper on. These are the sections. So really your paper should have 2 main sections, or not even really sections, but 2 main areas. Again, information about the cult or the event that you want to observe, and then the two unique beliefs that I'm looking for that you hope to be able to observe when you actually do your observational experience. Like I said, all I need is just for you to identify those beliefs and just briefly describe them. So I'm not looking for an exposition of each of those, just a brief description. So really 2 to 3 sentences is all I'm looking for. And then just make sure that your paper is organized well, grammatically correct, and so forth. And that if you do cite anything, I'm not asking you to cite anything, but if you do choose to cite something, that you will need to follow Turabian formatting, including a reference page. But again, I'm not asking for any citations or references in the paper. Now, one thing I do want to make note of here is that if you are choosing a video or something online that you're going to view, I do want to have access to that link, so you will need to provide that link or the URL in your paper itself. So please make sure you do that, because I need to look at it and make sure it's okay and approve it. So make sure you put that in your paper. In terms of the duration, those that attend a worship service live, you should expect to spend at least 45 minutes there in observation. And then those that do it, that observe something online, it'll need to be 30 minutes in duration. So just know that as you're doing your research and finding something, that those are the time requirements, minimum, that is, which shouldn't be a problem, especially for those events that are live, those observations that are live. Okay, let me see if there's anything else before we end this. Oh yes, one more thing regarding the submission of this paper. There is a link on the It's actually under the link section under the main information tab. And I've provided a tutorial on how to upload files to Populi and how to basically share your files with me or your papers with me. So that's how I want you guys to submit all your papers. And there is a link, like I said, on the information tab under links on the main page that gives a tutorial on how to do that. If you have any problems with that or run into any issues, then don't hesitate to communicate with me, and I'll walk you through it. Okay, if you have any questions, like I said, please contact me. And thanks a lot. Good luck, and God bless.